Hello and welcome. You are listening to episode 107 of the Nearly Men Video Games Podcast, coming to you live on Twitch from Scotland on Thursday, 21st April 2022. I am Blunderboy87, and joining me today is Colin NM.
Ahoy hoy.
And Paul Kaczynski.
Ahoy hoy.
We are the Nearly Men, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy. We have nothing to do with the video games industry. We don't make them, we don't sell them, and we're not even particularly good at them. We are the Nearly Men, and at some point you have probably kicked our asses online.
Yay!
Hey, I go 2 weeks, you stopped doing all your sound effects.
I was too busy giggling at Colin right before we went live going, shut up, shut up, shut up.
And then I nearly went. I nearly went. And it was just, it all went Pete Tong.
I could see something moving out the corner of my eye. I was like, don't look.
I know. Well, I was laughing at how seriously you were refusing to look at anything other than the screen.
Like, the script is there. Don't look. So I need to get this introduction right. How are we, gentlemen?
Aye.
All good, aye.
Aye.
Did you survive without me?
It's nice to see all three of us on the same screen.
I know. It's been a
The
hot
occasional men.
Indeed.
The sometimes nearly men.
We were very going to nearly need to.
We
We were nearly almost going to need a
You're right.
nearly going to need a rebrand. Why can I smell toast?
What's this someone called us a few weeks ago? The nearly men.
The nearly men.
Well, yes, the
occasional
nearly men and the occasional men and all sorts.
I love it.
We've been getting it tight, Blunder, to be honest. We've been getting absolute pelters.
Aye.
And you've not been here. We've been getting pelters.
I've got
That's
one
what
question.
happens.
I've got one question for you, Blunder.
What?
Did you listen to last week's podcast?
I did, and you asked me, you said, Blunderboy, if you're listening, say, something about tape. No. Rewind the tape. It was definitely something, because you're like, he's not listening.
He's
He doesn't
listened,
do
didn't he?
that. And then I can't, what is it you said? I was to say something. I just don't remember what it was, because you're asking me to say it in chat, because Colin was like, Janky's watching, and you went, I've popped in at the start and then left, but he doesn't do that. And then you told me to say something, and I almost texted you saying that, and I was like, I'll save it for the podcast, then I forgot what it was you said.
Yeah, you should have. Well, goldfish brain, you should have just texted as well. You remembered, because I can't remember either what we said.
What speed did you listen to it at?
Oh, that's right. I listened to it in two times speed.
2 times? Gosh.
Two times.
So you basically just
It's great.
We
you
should
listen to Alvin and the Chipmunks.
we should
Yes.
bring back I mean episodes and episodes ago we did a wee bit where we played ourselves at, was it half speed or 3/4 speed or something?
It was half speed.
And it sounds like you're drunk, and it is the funniest thing ever. I'll bring it back for next week, right?
It was very funny. It's
That sounds
very
good.
funny.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You could bring us back talking about Blunder's budgie smugglers in half speed, and then Blunder will put them at double speed, and
Yeah.
it'll sound normal.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what that would
I
sound
wonder
like.
if that would work. Yeah. Science.
Do you remember you used to slow? Well, you maybe don't remember this when there was records instead of your CDs. You could slow the speed down, so record players had 2 speeds. So if you bought a single,
yeah.
it was like 33, or 78, and then the
Hello.
albums were 33, right? But you could slow it down, and and if you slowed down Rick Astley, if you slowed down Kylie Minogue, she sounded like Rick Astley, and if you sped up Rick Astley, he sounded like Kylie Minogue. True story.
Paolo, Blunder and I are in our 30s. We only bought record players, ironically,
Right, yeah.
I don't actually own a record player, but I own records.
for the meme.
Like
Yeah.
lilac
like-
vinyls and all that.
I've got like video game records, like Resident Evil soundtracks, but I don't. Well, Mark's got a record player I could play them on. I've got the BioShock record and stuff, but I had a cassette player when I was younger that did that. You could play it, so it was like.
Oh, aye, cassettes that you could do long play.
Yeah.
Ah.
So like, Let's Get Ready to Rumble and the Lion King soundtrack and all that, and it's like half speed. It was real scary.
The best thing was when we got a VCR eventually that could do long play, and you could like record like 4 hours worth of movies and stuff like that. And I remember like we would before we went on holiday, I'd sit down with my dad and we would like program the VCR for all the movies that I wanted to wanted that we were going to miss in the 2-week period. You know, you used to get like it wasn't the TV Times, but like one of the papers did like a sort of one of the booklets in the paper had like about 2 weeks worth of telly, and we used to program the films that we were going to miss because you used to get really good for some reason. I guess because kids are off school and stuff, you used to get good stuff on during the summer holidays.
Used to be an event. Did you do it with a timer, or were you posh and did you have Video Plus?
It was a timer to begin with. I think eventually one of the ones we got did have Video Plus.
Oh, fancy.
I don't even know what that is. I always remember when I was younger going to Global Video, if you remember that back
Yes.
Oh,
and,
yes.
used to get
Well,
the
that's
free
what we were talking.
magazine.
We were talking about Global Video last week, were we not?
Oh.
Were we?
Were we not? I was talking about it someday.
He talks to a lot of people, to be fair.
Can't remember. I do.
And I remember at the back of one of them, it had like the time scale of like when a film's in the cinema and how it gets to. I was like trying to say this is why you should come to Global Video. So it was like 6 months to rental, a year to Sky Cinema or whatever Sky Cinemas back in the 90s, and then it was like a year and a half to 2 years till it was released in VHS. And I'm like, how did you wait that long? How did you just see a film, then 2 years later see it again? And that Global School thing was like, but you can get it earlier because we're a video rental company.
And then you've got the Batman that was released in March and now is streaming. You can get it in
now
home
on
rental
HBO.
now. Do you know what I mean?
Can you? Oh, good, I can watch it because I just couldn't hold my bladder to go see that in the cinema.
Can you get it in home right? I thought it was HBO Max it was on.
It is streaming. I don't know where it is, but
Pretty sure it's HBO Max, which you can't get.
Because I saw someone
I would
say,
argue that.
where can I watch the Batman in the UK? And I was like, is it online already?
I will find
I'm
out.
going to find out.
Or you find out.
If you know, and you want to let us know where we can watch the Batman.
The Batman
in the UK.
is excellent. I really like to Blunder. I think you'll like it a lot.
Here's how you can let us know with these contact details.
Reaching the Nearly Men is easier than ever. Search for the Nearly Men Video Games podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or your preferred podcast player. We stream on Twitch. Follow Colin at Colin_NM. Follow Paul at Paul Kaczynski, all one word. Follow Blunderboy at Blunderboy87. And let's get social on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram where we are at Nearly Men, or go old school and email us on info@thenearlymen.com. Need all that again? Links are on our website, thenearlymen.com. So what are you waiting for?
So please do get in touch to let us know where we can watch interesting TV films, TV shows, other things, or to let us know what you're doing with video games, because that's what we are, a video game podcast. Who knew that?
Wait, what?
I know!
Wait, what?
Sometimes we talk about video games. As we mentioned every week, you can also support the Nearly Men channel by purchasing some of our lovely merchandise for you visual listeners. Colin just now is gesticulating at his chest, showing off one of the t-shirts. So you can go to printbunker.co.uk/collection/the Nearly Men. You can grab one of our fantastic t-shirts designed by Colin himself. For $15.99, and then you can also grab a hoodie, which, as I always say, and I was saying it at the weekend when I was wearing it down at Insomnia, they are the snuggliest, comfiest hoodies ever. The hoodies are just $20.99, and it's very, very good quality.
Wow, kidding me.
Exceptional quality. And the t-shirts are very comfy as well. I had one of them all on for a good 6-7 hours, and it was very easy breezy cover girl.
Beautiful.
Comfortable. Any new designs coming soon, Colin?
I don't. Possibly. I've not.
Oh, he's an artist, and now he's just like resting in his laurels.
I've got some wee ideas. But I don't know. But yeah, we could maybe do that. But I somewhat dated one of them by a mistake, didn't I? Because I put 2021 on.
Oh, really?
It's the high score 2021 on the
On the Tetris one?
on the Tetris one. And
I bet that's
it's,
good because then what you do is you stop printing it and you say it was limited edition,
Yeah.
and then they sell on eBay for like millions.
So that before we do that, everybody should buy one, or else you'll never get them.
Limited run exclusivity.
Because very soon I'm going to put high score 2022.
I love that. It's like when
That's
Disneyland
what we'll
released a
do.
Christmas bauble and all they've done is change the date. You're like, oh, I've got that for last year, but thanks. Got to buy it again because I'm a completionist.
Yeah, you'd still buy it. I know. Just Blunder Boys. Tree is just the same bauble, just with a different date on it everywhere.
I swear I've got two of the aerial ones, and the only thing that's different is like the snowdrops are slightly in a different pattern. But I was like, it's worth it. It's a Disney bauble.
Unreal.
I know.
So,
Consumerism. Speaking of consumerism, well, I was away the past 2 weeks in case you didn't notice.
We didn't. Sorry.
yeah.
You're different. I hear there was riots in the street. The Blunder Boy was not on stream.
There was.
There was.
There was riots in the street in Birmingham, started by you.
So the first week I was away in Rome, which was nice. But no, actually,
there was riots in Birmingham and in Rome.
In Rome, I actually got back into Pokemon Go because I love getting Pokemon from holidays. So that was exciting.
Do you get different Pokemon holidays?
You get. It's
or
easier
a
to
Pokemon
get.
on holiday?
Do they have accents?
Sometimes
Do the
you get
Pokemon
Pikachu's
have
with
accents?
sunglasses. They do. They have Italian accents.
Bella.
It's a me, Charmander.
Sorry to any Italians listening.
Sorry to anyone listening.
Oh, you find that was a flawless.
I thought I was in Rome there for a moment.
Actually, that was a sneak peek at Chris Pratt playing Super Mario.
Exactly. There you go.
But last week I couldn't make it because I was, as Colin says, down in Birmingham at Insomnia 68. So for those who don't know, Insomnia is a big gaming festival, and it was really cool when it started. They did a big countdown, but they did like a quick history video, and it first started in like 1999. That's when the first one was, and it was like a big LAN party. Remember LAN parties?
LAN party,
yeah.
So it started as a big LAN party, and then they've done it every year. Well, they've done a couple of years because it's not been going for 68 years, obviously.
I was going to say, so is it literally 68? Has there been 68 of them?
There's been 68. I think the last one in person was 64.
Okay,
and then they did some online ones.
Because of COVID, they did them online. So 68 was the first one back in person. And it was just a big gaming convention. So if you've been to like MCM Comic Con or what was the one we were talking about in Glasgow we've been to? I keep forgetting. Resonate. I was going to say Retrograde. It's the same sort of idea as that. It's in the NEC in Birmingham, which is kind of like a big, massive venue.
It's
like
enormous.
NEC.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Huge.
And it was a 4-day event from Friday the 15th to Monday the 18th. And a lot of it's run by volunteers, so people volunteer their time to go down. So it's a big, massive industry festival. I'm trying to think what they're looking for, but a lot of it is run volunteers, and the volunteers were great. I must say they were really good. It's a lovely atmosphere. It was really chill. A real mix of people. There was families. There was like hardcore geeks. There was cosplayers. There was people who you could tell were just there because like, oh, something's on. But it was really, really nice, and there was lots and lots and lots to do. So I'm going to run through the kind of different things that were on, and talk about each of them. So they had loads of consoles to play, which you would expect. They had a big giant retro corner. So you had like your Sega Mega Drive, your SNES, your NES, your Master Systems, your PlayStation 1, 2s, Dreamcast. What else did they have? An N64. It was really interesting. Yes. They had the consoles in like protective cases. Ooh. Although I thought the ventilation looked a bit dodgy, so I was like, oh, I don't know if I trust that. But it's clearly just to keep them safe because they're now regarded as like gold dust. So they had the big retro section, which was cool. They had a big bunch of arcade machines that were all free to play, so you didn't have to put coins in. So they had like this Nerf game where you've got like basically just robotic Nerf guns just shooting things. Remember at the carnivals used to shoot the prize items like the ducks.
Right.
So it's like that, but it's Nerf. It's chaos. There's like a million things in the screen to shoot. They had like the basketball games. They had what else? They have in the arcade section. Just general like dance mat games, which Heck and MJ and I played, as well as Diet Punk because there was a bunch of us down there. I set a record on one of the songs. Just
Oh
putting that out
my!
there. So
Nice.
BB87's name is now in the Hall of Fame of dance
What
high
song?
scores.
What was the
Could
song?
not tell you.
Doesn't it
It
matter?
was some chaotic, hyper fuel dance track. Like, see, try to select a song, it's sensory overload because every time you go to a new song, it like gives you a sample. So it's like, and you go to the next one, it's like, bah, 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 bah. You go to the next one, it's like, you're like, I don't know what. Wah. It was like an assault in the senses, but it's good fun. They then had a big Xbox and PlayStation section where there was lots of different games you could play in those. I never went in that section because I've got those. So I didn't really feel like playing them.
Was the PlayStation section called the PlayStation side of town?
It was not.
It
And if
should
they
have been.
had, I would have been like, "Did you consult Colin
Exactly.
for that, Brandon? And does he get a cut?"
Aye.
Yep.
Interestingly,
Mr. Chick
Nintendo had like a section, but then they just had like Switch booths dotted around, which is quite nice. So people didn't have to wait in a booth the whole time.
And then just
Um,
like, I don't know, like strike breakers battering anybody in case they vaguely tried to unionize.
No.
Just got the Pinkertons in to rough folk up. Topical.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk about Insomnia, Colin. Still getting there.
I know.
Wait, was that? Oh, there was a bit you could play with your friends. So they had like First Class Trouble, Dead by Daylight. What's that? Back for Blood. So you could sign up. So we did that. We did it twice. The first day we played, I played as Nemesis and 4K'd everyone.
Mm.
Very good.
And annoyingly, the people who were playing before us had changed all the key bindings.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So key bindings, which didn't even make sense. Like their movement buttons were L and P. What? So they changed the key bindings, and then they'd been told their time was up, so they'd started a new match. So we had to quit the match, choose our characters, select our perks, ready up, and then she was like, "You have 5 minutes left," and we're like, "No, we don't." So we're playing this match. And
It's
then
nice
the
you went
next
all the way
day-
down to Birmingham to play the game that you play up
Yeah,
here.
absolute
I know,
weirdos.
it was nice playing it in person.
Ha,
And it was
ha,
really
ha,
different
ha,
because
ha.
when you play online, we're playing in comms, but because we're sitting next to each other, we couldn't use comms, but we couldn't hear each other because the headphones. So we just had to actually trust each other to like do well. So I did really well as a killer, and then
and it was a disaster for
Another
everybody
ones
else.
that had to communicate failed.
and then the next
Oh,
day when I was a survivor, 3 of us escaped.
the three of you
I'm not saying
escaped.
it was because of me. Well, one person died. Scott on Fire, I think, to Freddy Krueger. He get modded. So that was fun. They also had a big VR alley, like a big lane of VR headsets, like Oculus Quest 2s, and you could play. There was like Minecraft VR, which looks disgustingly sickening. They move so fast. It was. Oh, I was watching it and I felt dizzy. And they had like I think a golf game maybe. And so they had a bunch of different VR games. So it was really good. It gave people a lot of time, chance to try lots of games they've never played that are currently out and play different consoles and older consoles. Oh, they had a lot of big racing car setups as well.
Nice.
Which cars, I don't do cars, but people who played on the cars said they were good.
I
Like,
just
they had,
always
like,
feel
feedback.
that those like big stacks of VR, you know, a big VR. It just feels like if the PlayStation bit was the PlayStation side of town, then that would be like the pink eye section. It just-
Oh, no, not
just-
that.
Yeah, it's just I'm a bit like, oh.
Nope.
There was another VR section that me, Diet Punk, Heck and MJ, and their friend Lou went in, and it was a 4-man VR session. So you're in 2 teams, and it's basically laser tag in VR.
Oh,
It was
yes.
amazing. So like you loaded in, and you're like a wee robot, and you had your 2 guns. One was a shield and one was a gun, but you could switch. So you have 2 shields or 2 guns. So we being a chaotic rogue in D&D, I was like, I don't use shields. I just go in blasting, and like. It's so immersive because as soon as you go in, you believe you're in that world. So you're like peeking around walls and ducking behind crates and leaning over trying to shoot each other. Me and Diet Punk slaughtered the other two. And there was a bit I was standing with my back against the wall, hiding in a corner, and they both came further sides, and I just like reached out and shot them. I felt like it was amazing. But then you see the pictures of us, and it was just like big goofballs, like falling over, like nothing at all. But when you're in that 6-minute game, it feels so real. It's so good.
And you walk about, don't you?
Yeah, you walk around, like you'd have to have a big room. I was like, I could play it in my garden with people because my garden was like the same size as the space.
Because Blunder just humble bragging about how massive his estate is.
It's about the size of like a school gym hall or so. The garden would work, wouldn't it?
Listen, peasants, it wouldn't work for you lot, but I suppose on my 7th lawn, I could probably just about do it.
Squeeze it in.
But then everyone would need their own VR headset, so you need to get
Blunder. But how many VR sets have you got in your house? I mean, you must have 3 or 4 just lying around.
I have 2. No, like one's a PSVR and one's Quest 2. Like they're not for like the same thing.
Uh-huh.
But I have 2 VR headsets. But it was so good, so fun. The one bad thing is they were letting people queue up and get to the front, and then they're going, "Oh no, your kid's too small to play."
Oh no!
And they'd watch them queue the whole time, and we were like,
flashbacks to Nemesis. Flashbacks to Nemesis at Alton Towers.
It was a Coca-Cola
1996.
Oh, so that was a wee bit gutting.
Coca-Cola
and then
ride Garden Festival 1988. Same thing. Same. Swished. Can I ask what VR headset was it you were using? Was it a
Quest 2?
Was it a Quest 2? That's very clever.
I don't know how it worked. I don't even know if it's like a public game you can buy. I was saying I'd go and look it up. I took a picture of the name. I'm sure I need to look at my photos. But it was very good. It was very responsive. It was lots of fun. I could see things like that becoming big. I could see like Laser Quests. But Laser Quests are kind of phased out, but having that, and I think lots of people would play that.
Well, I
because
think
there's no
there
cost.
are places you can do that.
It's an empty room and the headsets. There's also if you're going to have
and
to
a hell of a risk assessment.
I would feel a wee bit cautious moving about. Where
you don't really run. You lunge at least, or like what I was doing is I was standing my back against the wall and doing the action movie thing where you swing your right leg out and look down the corridor and shoot, and then swinging back. So you don't really run. And I think one of the rules is you're not allowed to run. And plus, if you go through a wall, your guns will freeze. You can't shoot or do anything. So there's penalties for like trying to be like cheaty or like,
and how close can you get to your other players?
Oh, Diapunk and I walked right in at each other because I turned a corner as he turned and then screamed, and everyone in the whole arena heard him. It was very funny. And then we couldn't stop laughing for ages. And when you get shot, you just have to walk back to your respawn area.
Okay.
And then go out, but you can camp people's respawn area, which is a bit crap. So you need to have like an agreement. We won't spawn camp. But the VR bit that was so much fun. It was hilarious.
Nice.
There's a big shopping area, like there is always at cons, and that's just your standard stuff like gaming stuff, gamer equipment, new keys for keyboards. There was art, toys. There was body pillows, which are always questionable. So that was your standard fare. I didn't buy anything from there just because it was hand luggage only that I'd got, and I didn't trust anything getting broke or anything. They had a big cosplay corner where it was like people could show off the stuff they crafted, or they had hints and tips on how to do wigs and make costumes. As soon as we walked in, we met a Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8.
I did see that picture.
Yeah, she was very cool. But there was lots of they were really cool. And then they had the 3 stages. There was a stage at the cosplay area, which was for like mini cosplay things. There was a small stage up near the VR section and the creators hub. Well, the creators had a tavern. So if you had a creator pass, you could meet your fans at this creators tavern, which was quite cool. But there was a stage
was it an actual tavern?
No, it was like a gate with some tables and kegs. But the effort was made, and they had logs that had dry ice, so it looked like there was smoke. So that was cool. But the small stage did things like they did D&D live by a group called Critical Role. They had a bunch of little like seminars like how to support streamers, equality in the gaming industry. At 5 o'clock each day they did a Dance Dance Revolution party. So like Just Dance party on the Wii or the Switch.
Oh,
like
Paolo, we missed our calling.
No, mate.
So that was sort of like small, intimate things, which was pretty cool. And then they had the big stage, which was like the big venue. And the only thing I saw there was I couldn't really tell what was there, but the big thing I saw was the cosplay competition. So we saw the professional cosplay competition, and on the Friday there was like the amateur cosplay competition. I don't know what the difference is. I missed the amateur one, but that was very good. The costumes were outstanding, and they had to go out and do a performance. So they either lip synced or did some sort of combat routine. There was a very cool shepherd from Mass Effect and stuff.
What was the best cosplay you saw?
From the competition, there was a girl playing one of the characters from Dragon Age Inquisition. Laria? I don't know. She's kind of like a huntress kind of character.
Okay.
Her costume is beautiful. The shepherd costume was really cool. There was a Tiny Tina. There was two Tiny Tinas.
Oh yeah,
pretty good. There was a girl doing a character from Westwood, which I found an interesting choice for a gaming con. But
Westworld.
Oh, Westworld, yeah. But she looked.
Westwood's a terrible DJ on Radio 1 many years ago.
Oh, really? So the Westworld.
Very embarrassing character.
But no, they were good. There was a lot of effort put into them, and then there was people in cosplay who weren't part of it, just walking around. So like I saw a 2B from Nier Automata. There was a fantastic Aloy. Actually, I sent
I saw that one.
Yes, we got you sent us a picture of you with
so I'll put a bunch of the
Shepherd,
pictures in the Discord after the stream, so we can check
Brilliant.
it out. There was a BYOC area, which was bring your own computer, which was 24-hour access. So the con ran from 10 to 6 each day. But if you did bring your own computer, you could be there for 24 hours. And there was an on-site camping, so you could sleep in the NEC arena. And it was like these cardboard, almost looked like coffins that you could rent out. I don't know if you could bring your own tent, but they had these like environmental friendly cardboard tents as well. But there was quite strict that you couldn't bring alcohol on the premises and stuff like that. And basically, it was like people brought their own PCs and stuff down to just sit. So that was like the LAN party sort of thing. Okay. And then they had a massive university esports section, and there was tournaments going on, like Valorant and stuff. And the Sunday, I was sitting because I was tired, and they're all cheering and screaming. And then we went over to kind of watch that a little bit, and it was really interesting. So there was loads going on. There was loads to do and watch. It was really good, and meeting other streamers and meeting people you'd met online who you'd never spoke to face to face. That was quite fun. So there is another one coming up, Insomnia 69.
Nice.
I don't know if they're going to change the name for it or something, because all the jokes online already are ridiculous. So that's Friday, August 26th to Monday, August 29th, 2022. So I might go down for the Saturday, Sunday, because it was really good fun. I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Was that a pun?
And what?
Never mind. We'll move past it.
There was one bit I forgot. There was a huge indie studio segment. And there was lots of different games you could try. So there was like a new zombie survival game coming out, which looked really good. There was a game where you played a loaf of bread. There was a game you played as a tapeworm. There was a game called Slaps, which was like the little person's hands were sticking out, and you just run around slapping things like zombies and stuff. And then there was another game all about slapping as well. It seems to be an thing just now. There was a new game that was very Hollow Knight kind of like Super Meat Boy, which I know you both loved. And that's coming out soon. But there was one game which I absolutely loved. It was called Grid Force by Playtra Games, and it's like a bullet hell RPG. And I kind of skipped the story stuff in the demo because I didn't want to spoil, but basically you play this character, Donna, a very normal name, and she's no memory, but she meets all these goddesses who join your team, and it's like a grid system. You've got to kind of move up and down. At first, I thought it was going to be like Gwent for The Witcher, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that looks good. And then I was like, oh, it looks good. So it was really fast-paced, really tactical, and hopefully I will be able to talk about a bit more of that in the future. But it was excellent, and the art style is beautiful as well. It's very cartoony, pastel colours and stuff like that, and the character design is beautiful. And I got a magnet. I got a free magnet. They're like, what was your favourite character? And I was like, oh, Nina, I think her name was. And they're like, here's a magnet. So she's in my fridge.
Yay!
There you go.
But no, definitely worth it. A lot of fun. One thing I think that was missing compared to Resonate, as I was saying to you before we came live was a lot of like the big industry names being there, but I think it's probably because we're just out of lockdown. Really,
Yeah.
they're still playing it kind of close to their chest. So hopefully the August one there'll be a bit more of the sort of bigger names kicking around. But no, it was lots of fun. It was really, really good.
Nice.
So they seem to be doing it in quite a quick. This is not like once a year. This is very much more regular than that, and it's quite a big event to put on that.
Is it in the same place next time?
Yeah,
Is it always in Birmingham?
I think it's always in Birmingham. Yeah,
Right.
and I think it's every 6 months to do it. So,
Brilliant.
Ooh.
but yeah, so that was
Very
excellent. Glad it went down very last minute.
Man on the ground, Blunder Boy.
Reporting for the Nearly Men news. And I wore my Nearly Men t-shirt and hoodie as well, so I was like, look, it's the Nearly Man.
Representing.
Yeah.
We should have sent him down with a bag of them. Just got him and flogged them down there, Paolo.
Right.
Nearly Men t-shirts for sale.
Thought they
Get
got
your
a
t-shirts, get your t-shirts.
But yes, that was Insomnia. I believe that there has been a big Sea of Thieves update. And
There has.
I am not the man to talk about it, so Colin, why don't you tell us about this big Sea of Thieves update?
Yeah, so this isn't necessarily a massive update, but it's a couple of quite big things that have come. So this is still in the middle of season 6 of Sea of Thieves. This is the third adventure. These are the time-limited story things. They're really good. Blunder, I think actually, I know Paulo's actually missed out a couple of the adventures.
Yeah.
I think you quite like these,
I
Blunder.
remember you saying that before.
Yeah, they are very much maybe if we're looking for something to do for the Nearly Men channel, we could maybe do one next week or something. That might be an option. It means that at least Paulo will get a chance to do one for once.
That's true.
I'll need to check that it's still there. It is a time limited event, but this one looks really exciting actually. And there's another big announcement as well. But basically, what's happened is they brought in essentially 2 brand new epic stories that are waiting. We've got the Shrouded Deep, that is the adventure I'm talking about, and of course the long-awaited pirate legend voyage, which is called Legend of the Veil, has come as well. I sort of talked about this a bit last week. We had a wee chat during our stream, but I think it's been sort of overlooked for a while is the late game stuff in Sea of Thieves, the Athena stuff. It's very grindy. It's quite boring. It takes a very long time to do stuff, and it's not a lot of fun. So they've managed to change that with this new voyage, which basically is a sort of 3-chapter voyage that sort of starts the same way and ends the same way in this big epic adventure in the middle of a gigantic storm with a huge sea tornado, and you've got a battle and all sorts of stuff. But in between, it's got these little sort of like modules that randomize, which basically means the thing's kind of instantly replayable. There's various different types of maps, so it might be combat style challenges you're doing, or maps or riddles, but even the maps and the riddles are not the same ones you're using as beforehand, or on normal voyages in Sea of Thieves, you'll get a map and it'll be just a standard map. You'll see the island, you go, oh, that's Smuggler's Bay, or that's Discovery Ridge or Devil's Ridge, and you just sort of head there. The maps now are zoomed in. These ones, they're specific sections of the island, so you're going to have to be paying a bit more attention. You're going to have to know the islands a bit better to do that. And it's just a nice way to add it up. I've not had a chance to play it yet. I'm going to play them tomorrow. But I've already heard from my little sparrows that it's really, really good. So that's great.
Nice.
Excited about that. And the other one, of course, is the Shrouded Deep. Now this sounds really cool. This is picking up from the third. This is the third adventure. It's picking up directly from the last one, which was what was it called? Force. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. Shrouded Force or something. Anyway, they've all been gathering on. You've been working with Belle, this mysterious pirate character, and she's been kind of guiding you along. And we now know that what we have to do after rescuing the inhabitants of Golden Sands from the sea forts that Flameheart's Machiavellian plan involves a magical artifact, which is actually called the Veil of the Ancients, and it allows the users to, it gives them the ability to travel between the living world and the Sea of the Damned. Now, Belle has worked out through the information that you managed to glean from the last adventure that artifact, the last place that it was or where they thought it was, is inside the belly of the infamous shrouded ghost Megalodon.
Shrouded ghost doesn't exist, man.
It doesn't. It's the ghost's a lie, man.
Ghost doesn't exist.
So Belle is going to be pulling the famous, legendary Megalodon hunter Merrick of the Hunter's Call, who's given up Megalodon hunting. You know, just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. And basically, you and your crew with Belle and Merrick are having to go. You're going to have to summon the shrouded ghost. This is a meg. I think it's got like a 0.5%, or is it 0.1%? It's got the tiniest percentage in the world, the spawn rate. You summon it and you have to fight it. I hasten to add that it's not going to count towards any commendations for actually finding and hunting the shrouded ghost, which is good. This is not a way to cheese it. This is not going to spoil that commendation or make the shrouded ghost any less magical if somebody does find it out there.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest, I'm very excited to actually see it. I know it's not going to be that same moment of, you know, kind of rubbing your eyes and going bloody hell if you actually were to find it organically. You're going out there and summoning the thing. But I'm quite excited to see her. And yeah, it just looks really cool. And I'm just really loving what Rare are doing with these adventurers. The story and the lore is really tying very well, and it genuinely does feel. And that's, I know Paolo's kicking himself a wee bit because he missed the previous ones because they feel like an event. They're quite quick, but I'm already thinking, oh, remember I did that one, and there will be a sort of way, and I feel this is going to be another one. Like, you remember that time that we all sailed out and we brought the shrouded ghost out and fought her. It's quite exciting, and I'm very excited with what's going to happen because we've had some adventures, but the mysteries are also coming soon. And we know that the mystery is going to revolve around a murder mystery for this first one. So somebody's going to die, and we're going to have to work as not just as crews, but actually as Sea of Thieves community to do that. And this is all building up to something that is essentially going to change the fate of the Sea of Thieves forever. So I like that. We've already lost Golden Sands. Now, they've been very coy about exactly what's going to happen, but I think it may well be, we might end up in a situation where, as a community, due to the actions or the decisions that the community take, whether Golden Sands is ever saved or maybe goes forever, or could we potentially lose another island, or could something else happen? You know, could the Sea Dog Tavern be obliterated, or what could Reaper's Hideout disappear off the map? You know, for instance, who knows where they're going to go with it? But I love the sort of grand scale that Rare are working with here at the moment, and really adding to that lore. And actually, it's not just like, here's a whole bunch of stories for you. This is actually players who are affecting and experiencing that lore as well. I think it's really cool. It's really cool.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to trying that. I'm gonna give them a go tomorrow. But yeah, already I think folk are very much enjoying them.
Nice.
Look forward to seeing that. Moving on, we're gonna do some subbies.
Subbies.
Our Game Pass editions on the 19th April, you're getting Formula 1 2019 on Cloud. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion on console, PC, and cloud.
Wait, what?
Yeah, just gonna roll with it.
I thought you just scrolled on to BBC News for a second there. It's like, what's he done now?
Not Turnip Boy. On the 26th of April, you can get 7 Days to Die on console, PC, and cloud. Also on 26th of April, Research and Destroy on console and PC. On 28th of April, you can get Bug Stacks on the console, PC, cloud, and Unsold on console and PC. And the 5th of May, you get Citizen Sleeper on console and Trek to Yomi on console and PC.
Paolo.
Oh no!
Games with Gold.
Mad for the Bug Snacks, so yes.
Bug Snacks is good. April 1st to April 30th, you can get Another Sight. April 16th to April 30th, MX versus ATV Alive. And from April 16th to May 15th, you can get Hue. Over on the PlayStation side of town, you still have the April games. So your PS5 and 4 game is Hood, Outlaws and Legends. And your PS4 games are SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and Slay the Spire. Guys, I believe last Thursday you may have played some multiplayer games. What did you play and how good was it?
Well, we played Chivalry. Chivalry 2, to be precise.
Ooh.
It was great fun, wasn't it, Colin?
It's such a good game. I bloody
Absolute
love
carnage.
it.
It's so violent, it's so gory, and it's so random. I can't get good at it.
I mean, looking at it, is it a game you can get good at?
Well, there is skill involved. There is.
Yeah, there's very much skill involved. Yeah, but I do think we talked about this a bit. I think it's kind of quite a good leveler as well. This is not like, Warzone or something where somebody can just get like 100 kills in a row and then get their drones up in the sky and shoot you down and all that. Even somebody with a bit of luck can get a kill. If somebody makes a mistake in the battle, you can do that. And regardless how good you are, if somebody comes up behind you and whacks you in the back of the head with an axe, you're going down.
Not much you can do about that.
And so it sort of levels up that sort of way. It was just absolutely madness. And it's got this bonkers sort of stuff. We saw somebody there hitting a rope that dropped a sign on folk and stuff. the sort of interactivity of the map and the amount of silly things you can do in the game just leads to absolute madness. And yeah, although Paolo says he didn't get good, we, the Nearly Men, made a good. We did all right, Paolo.
We were all right. Aye, it's the kind of thing, you can jump into a crowd of people and just start swinging your sword, and you'll get a couple of folk before somebody gets you.
Yeah.
It makes me like that. My gameplay in this is very much that bit in Braveheart where Edward Longshanks says, "Send in the archers," and he goes, "Forgive me, sir. Won't we hit our own men?" "Yes, but we'll hit theirs as well." And that's very much 100%. How I play.
Aye, the amount of times I hit my teammates was unreal. It was good fun, and we were joined by Racturian and Unauthorized Cinnamon, who joined us for a few games, which was nice.
And at least in this one, Cinnamon doesn't have to pretend to be a murderer; he can just go at it.
Exactly.
Well, Paolo and I were very much hunted men, so much so that Cinnamon and Racturian constantly would spawn in our team and then change sides just so they could come for us.
Right.
I love that. That's so nice, so wholesome.
We gave as good as we got, though, Paolo.
Yeah, we did.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. Stand up for the Nearly Men.
Chopped a few of our community's heads off.
Yes. It's just a sign of love and affection. Colin, what else have you been playing?
Oh my goodness! Right, so I've not been on stream this week because
he doesn't like anyone.
The never-ending saga of our kitchen continues. We had a bit of problems getting a plasterer. We got let down by somebody. We got another guy who came, and then there was various things. The guy we got's excellent, absolutely brilliant. But it was quite a tricky job. Took a couple of days. So I had to move everything out of the kitchen into the living room, and I basically just sat around like stacks of stuff and played Elden Ring for like
Yay.
3 days straight. Oh my goodness. I don't think, with the exception obviously of Sea of Thieves, but with Sea of Thieves, I mostly stream that game. I don't actually sit and play Sea of Thieves when I'm not streaming.
Yeah.
I can't really remember a game for a while that I have put this much time into. I'm at 77 hours now. I am 90, level 96, 97. I've probably killed somewhere in the region of about 30 bosses, and
Nice.
I honestly can't, I cannot articulate just how big this game is. I keep going, I must have completed the map now. This, there's only a tiny little bit of sort of like the kind of fog of war of a map. I was like, there's only a wee bit of clouds there. There can't be much. I kind of think I know what's going to be sort of there, and then this is it. This is the world. This is where I'm doing it. And then you just find another bit, and you find another map, and you're like, whoa. And then, so it adds that on. You're like, well, hang on. And as you zoom out, what you thought was a square is suddenly this enormous 16 by 9 rectangle. And I'm like, there's a whole bloody section over there. I've not even. It is astonishing. And yet, for a game that has such a big open world, none of it feels very like just this is just grassland and there's nothing here. There's stuff everywhere, literally everywhere. Even areas where I've been to where I think I'm pretty sure I've 100%ed that. You go back there and you see this little like I don't know, like a little like fork in the road that you never noticed before, and you're like, oh, I wonder what's down there, and it takes you a whole other area or a dungeon or this astonishing sort of like vista that you're staring at as you suddenly get attacked by a dragon or a gigantic bear or whatever.
Nice.
And it's just absolutely incredible. So I've killed the fourth story boss. I've done an awful lot of just exploring and just sort of finding out. I was a bit lost. I had to go to a guide to kind of get myself back on track a little bit, because I was getting a little bit worried that I was getting a bit over leveled, because I was going back to some of the places where I'd had a tough time, and then I was like, it's like my time to shine. Remember me? Smack, smack, smack. And I was like, oh, I really need to try and get back on the story, or I'm going to, I feel I'm going to miss out. So I did boss 3 about a week or so ago. Boss 4 was that today or was that yesterday? Last night. And unfortunately, boss 4, so this is mild spoilers. I'm going to mention this boss, so if anyone doesn't want to hear it, fingers in your ear or put the volume down for a second. The enemy is called Radan. And I've heard a big thing online about how hard he is to fight, how tough he is, how, and then he got sort of nerfed in an update, and then they sort of like unnerfed him most recently. And I was like, good, I didn't fight him while he was nerfed, and he's apparently back to being hard, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. And I beat him in one go. I was a bit like, oh. So I feel I was possibly a little bit over leveled, possibly, for him. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like one shot him or anything like that. It was still a fight, and I had to use a number of flasks, and I had to, there was a couple of times I very nearly did die in the fight, but I was very, I kind of feel when I go into a boss fight, I'm always like, right, the first one's just a free hit. We'll see what happens. I'll get an idea of what sort of stuff I'm going to deal with, and then I'll come back ready. I'll have an idea of whether fire might work, or blood loss might work, or poison might work. And I never really got to do that because I beat him the first time. But it's absolutely fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous, and it's funny because I've now gone into another bit and I'm having a really hard time again. So I'm kind of like, maybe I'm now sort of appropriately leveled for where I am. I'm 77 hours in. I feel like I'm probably I had a feeling that I was kind of getting near the end, but then I went and looked through the trophy list, and turns out I'm absolutely nowhere near the end by the looks of it. So I've got a fair bit still to go, and do you know what? I'm just delighted because I'm honestly. I mean, obviously, I've got huge hopes for potentially God of War Ragnarok coming out. I know Corey Barlog did a little video the other day online where he talked about it and basically said still not ready to show, but they're working really hard, kind of fine tuning everything, and it does look as though potentially it may still come out this year. But I tell you, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the only game that for me is going to knock Elden Ring off Game of the Year, because at the moment it's just so good. It's just so good. I'm blown away by it.
Awesome. Paro, what have you been playing?
I've been playing the normal stuff. The golf tournament's still kicking on every week. It was not good this week at all. We'll not talk about that. No, we'll not talk about that. Star Citizen. I'm still playing Star Citizen. Still loving Star Citizen. A new kind of big patch is about to drop, 3.17. It's. I'm hearing that it's kind of buggy, but it's good. The things like ship-to-ship refueling's coming into it. You can now sell loot to vendors. What else? There's a river now, so they've now put in a river, and that's a kind of test river, if you like. Once that's kind of working, they'll be able to put it all over the place and put multiple rivers and all that. So it's good. It's still a brilliant game, a really fun game to play. If you like the gameplay loops, and you're fine. It's really good fun. But I suppose the big news this week was we started the Formula One community tournament, which has been getting built up over the weeks. And it started, there was a few teething problems to start with. We had a few connection issues. We couldn't get one player in particular to connect. But we think we've maybe fixed that. We did get 2 races in, which I finished both of them. I was very chuffed.
Yay.
Very chuffed.
Yay.
And it was I was third in the first one and then last in the second one. But it's honestly great fun. It's not just a racer like Forza or Gran Turismo. You need to be really careful, and there's a lot more finesse to it, which is it makes it so much scarier to play, so much more exciting. And it's great. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to try for kind of three races a night on a Monday night. Some of the great community are involved, and people just throwing themselves into it. It's great fun. And it's just this sizzle reel that you've got. This is very good. Paolo, that's my intro. Yeah, that's my intro.
Is very good.
It's good fun. It's good fun. That'll be getting played a lot because it took me forever. But honestly, it's so much fun. It's as I say, you need to be really gentle with the controls. You can't just burly right round corners. You have to really take your time and feather the controls, and it's a danger. It's like Formula One in a way that when the race starts, it's very dangerous because everybody's very, very close. You're braking as you go into the first corner, and if you damage your car, if you damage the front of your car in any way, you have to go and get it fixed. Otherwise, you can't turn corners, basically.
Right.
So
I'd be out of that first corner. I'd be right after chat. I'd be done. It was very entertaining to watch. I say it was good fun. And all the nice pretty cars. I was like, oh, pretty cars.
The graphics are fantastic.
They are. They really are. I mean, they've kind of knocked out of the park for a few years running, and I don't know how much better they can get. But now, I don't know if this year is the first kind of next gen they're going for. So it could be even shinier. I don't know, but it's great. It's great fun. Bye. That's me. That's me. Just that.
Excellent. I've managed to play some things. I got the Dark Anthology collection for really cheap in the PS sale. And I was really looking forward to Little Hope. And I loved Little Hope up until the end, where it took a big steaming turd all over itself.
Oh.
Literally, I wish I hadn't finished it. I wish I'd stopped where I was happy and could. It just ruined the game for me.
That's not the one. I played the Man of Medan.
You played Man of Medan. Little Hope's the second one. I've not been that furious at the end of a game in a long time.
So Little Hope's after Man of Medan, yeah?
Yeah, so they're not connected. It's like Creepshow or American Horror Story. Each game's its own story that don't link. at all.
And
It's a different cast of characters and all that.
is Until Dawn part of the Dark Anthology?
No, Until Dawn is own, as is the Quarry. They're standard. So think of Until Dawn and the Quarry like movies, and the Dark Anthology like TV shows.
Okay.
Like that.
Is Little Hope scarier than Man of Medan? It looked scarier.
Little Hope had me like going and really, really spooky, and it was really creepy and really horrific. And then the end was like, and now I'm gonna poo all over myself. And I was like,
To be fair, that is very horror-esque because
no, but it was even like satisfying. Though sometimes the end of horror, you go, oh, that was mean, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Like it's a pure like get back to the audience. This one, it was like the ultimate sin in story writing.
Oh dear.
Which you all probably can tell what that is at the end of a film or something. So it was just, I wanted to take my disc out and smash against the wall, but I don't do discs, and I wasn't smashing my PlayStation against the wall, so I just uninstalled it. I was going to play
Are
it
you
again.
telling me I mean, I don't actually want to say this because I might spoil it, but I'm almost saying it. I imagine you're saying that you woke up in the shower. Like, he's too young to get that reference.
I know we're
He's too young to get that reference.
Like it was all a dream, basically. It was all a dream.
But the danger is...
Yeah, right, okay, yeah.
It was a Dallas reference.
But
Blunder.
oh yeah, of course. But then I started House of Ashes, and House of Ashes is terrifying. So I would say if you want to play a Dark Anthology game, play House of Ashes, and it looks pretty, and it's Ashes Tidsdale with a machine gun, so it's really weird. But it's good. I started my Resident Evil recap of 2022 because I just love Resident Evil on a Tuesday night.
Oh, do you?
This is brand new information.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm going to play all of them that I can. There's like a couple I won't because they don't work on PC, but I'm going to play all of them, even the not so good ones in people's opinions, because last time I just rushed the main games leading up to the Village. This time we're going to do all of the games. And that's been lots of fun playing. I did Resident Evil Director's Cut, and I've done Claire's scenario in the first Resident Evil 2. And then I went back into the Replicant just because Baker Boy's been playing it, and they gave me the bug for it again, and I want to get all the endings, and it's a great game. So yeah, nothing major or new really. But yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Viewers have been in touch. Laura Dora has been playing Vampire Survivors. Oh, Vampire Survivors has been a blast this week, bargain on Steam. So if you like vampires, go look at that. Amar Ahmad says, I've been playing Far Cry New Dawn. Far Cry 5 is so much better with an actual story in it.
I am shocked to hear that. I did not enjoy Far Cry.
Oh.
We tried to play it. We tried it.
I gave up now.
I've completed it. We got sent review copies of it, and there's a lot that I liked off it, but it's just not that good.
Baker, who is also Baker Boy on Twitch, says having an existential crisis playing Nier Replicant, which is why I'm playing it again, and now on to Nier Automata. Or so goes it
I didn't get that.
I was very glad I was hosting because I was like, they will be like, what?
Well, Colin got it.
Yeah, I got it straight away. I was congratulating Baker Boy on his wonderful emoji work in the Discord.
I didn't get it until you said it out loud there. That's
Automata, a tomato. Evil Monkey, that Sea of Thieves update though. That's Formula 1 mainly, a dash of Elden Ring, and a small smattering of Cyberpunk the other day. That's like a Delia Smith recipe. Silstraff, only been playing the new season of Witch Queen, not much else to report. Captain Illyria has been playing Star Citizen and World of Warcraft, and Yoshimitsu has been playing the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remasters.
Now, I'm tempted by them. I adored Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
You did. You spoke about that before. They're quite often in sale when they play PS5. So check the sale.
I do need
to
to keep an eye on them.
Because there's like 75% off just now for Easter or something like that.
You're a rad dude as well.
I am a rad dude. I have many baseball caps.
Sick kick tricks. Or something like that.
I've knocked myself out on a skateboard IRL many times. And then realised it's probably easier to not. I don't get knocked out if I play it on my PlayStation.
Exactly. But we love it when you get in touch. Let us know what you've been playing, and if you would like to get in touch, let us know what you've been playing. Here's how you can do that.
We'd love to hear from you. Find us on Facebook as The Nearly Men, Twitter and Instagram, where we are at Nearly Men, or email info.
Yes, please do get in touch. That's a bit sharp, you.
Something went wrong there.
I was like, okay, new release time on the 21st of April. You can get Alucard on PC, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and Switch. Lumot, the Master Moat Chronicles on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, and Velone on PC. On the 22nd of April, you can get Metal Tales Overkill on PC, PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and Switch. On the 26th of April, you can get The Serpent Rogue on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and Switch. On the 27th of April, Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt comes out on PS5. Is that out last month?
This looks cool. This looks very cool.
Yeah, it looks very good. And MLB The Show on the Switch. Baseball? Maybe?
Correct.
Yes.
Basketball? Baseball? Yeah, it could be. On the 20th of April, you can get Kaiju Wars on the PC. On the 29th of April, you can get Nintendo Switch Sports on the Switch. And then moving on to May, on the 4th of May, you can get Wildcat Gun Machine on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. On the 5th of May, you can get Warhammer 40, I think it's about 40k Chaos Gate Demon Hunters on PC. And best month ever on PC, PlayStation, Xbox consoles, and Switch. And then on the 6th of May, you've got Crowns and Pawns Kingdom of Deceit on the PC. That's
Lovely.
how good releases.
Nice.
Anything from chat?
Yes, Evil Monkey. Evil Monkeys, when you were talking about your hoodies, suggested it must not be as snuggly as the Adidas hoodie, though. Boom. Got him.
No, because my hoodie's on the line drying because I wore it so much at the weekend. So, boom, got you right back.
Get it, Rune, you evil. He also says...
Blunder is very much trying to get an Adidas sponsorship the other day with
Yeah, I know,
Adidas t-shirt
full
and Adidas
Adidas.
hoodie.
Have you got Adidas shoes on?
Oh, shit.
Oh.
No, I have
Have you got an Adidas keyboard? Because you're going to need one now. You've just poured Pepsi Max all over yourself.
It's not on the keyboard, it's just on the table, it's fine.
Oh, no. Oh,
Timestamp
no.
that. Timestamp that. My first beat. I've grown up. No, my trainees are Reeboks. I wear Reeboks.
Okay. When Colin was talking about Sea of Thieves murder mystery, even Monkey did say, I hope it's not my character dies. That would suck.
Can you imagine they just randomly picked one person and just nerfed them from the game?
And in relation to Elden Ring being a really good open world game and it feels big but not overwhelming and such like, Baker Boy says, none of it feels Ubisoft, you mean?
Oh gosh, man, I've had to give up on Ubisoft games. Like, I'm just like, no. My life.
I mean, see, to be fair, actually, Ubisoft's open worlds are quite interesting. There's just too much. And a lot of busy work.
Too much spam.
And Ubisoft open worlds actually not that bad. The open world that I had a tricky time with was Ghost of Tsushima, for instance, which is it's a genuinely fantastic game, but there is points to the open world where it's more about how good it looks than actually how interesting it is to traverse or explore. The fighting's great. It looks brilliant. Love the story. Found the open world a little bit bland at points, but
I just don't like them when they're too big. Like, I know you love it. Red Dead's open world makes me dead. Oh,
I think Red Dead's.
I find it big and boring.
I think.
But
Red
we've
Dead's
had that chat.
open world's one of the sort of. Although I have to say, Horizon Forbidden West's open world's fabulous. It's massive, Blunder. It's bigger than Red Dead.
No, I got places really fast in Horizon Forbidden West, and I run everywhere. I don't use Steed, so I was finding things to do and running about and jumping and punching things in the face. But Red Dead, I was just
unacceptable. He shouldn't be a nearly man. I vote to kick Blunderboy out the nearly man on that comment
for his
alone.
Crimes against Red Dead. It's always the thing, but you know. As big as an Ubisoft open world can be, especially like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I still have like
oh my gosh,
flashbacks to the anxiety of looking at that map and going, I just can't do it. And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I was quite excited about the thing, but the combat's so rubbish, and I was like, and then I just zooming out on the map, and it's like, oh, they really need to change. Ubisoft really need to change their battle system. The fighting is rubbish. It's rubbish. So that kind of bored me. But Elden Ring's map is that big. It's that big, but it's just
interesting.
It's just more interesting. It's just more
And that's
interesting.
what's important. Gonna do a big work to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta be done. Gentlemen, any streams coming up of worth or note?
I'm on tomorrow afternoon, probably so that'll be Friday 22nd, probably about 1 p.m. ish. The plaster's got to come back. He's got to fix one wee little thing. So that's delaying it ever so slightly. But yeah, I'll be on in the afternoon. We're going to play some Sea of Thieves. We're going to explore the brand new content.
Woo! I'm back on Sunday. I think that's when I'm back on next. For the flights
around the world. Where are you going to this time?
We are in we're in Sweden. We're in Sweden. Been to Norway. We're now cutting across Sweden, heading towards Finland. I don't think we'll get any further than that.
The land of Rakshorian.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Rakshorian standing there with an anti-aircraft gun waiting for you.
Get him, boys. I should be back Sunday as well. I don't know what I'm playing yet. I shall see how I feel. A story game, or I might just do Dead by Daylight or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Are you going to Birmingham to play Dead by Daylight?
I am. I'm
going to
take
go
my
down there.
PC down.
Right.
Well, don't take your Pepsi Max marinated keyboard with you.
I never hit the keyboard. I hit this table next to the keyboard, thankfully. Like, it just swerved. And actually, it never dribbled. So I clearly have psychic powers and held it in the table. I was like, "Grr."
Yeah.
But no, thank you very much. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by executive producer Hamster Boy.
Producer.
Yeah.
And the next episode will be live here on twitch.tv/The Nearly Men. Episode 108 at 8 p.m. on the 5th of May. Any parting words?
Keep your fizzy drinks away from your expensive computer and recording equipment, people.
Yes.
That's a good motto to live by.
Yes.
Paul?
Just keep your pawn in your halfpenny.
Oh, man. And as always, remember to keep your joypads charged. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.